Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where it has been a while since we played any KSP, and I've got a few extra mods installed here than our normal fare. So, as you can probably tell by the name of this series and the thumbnail, our goal is to build a colony on Duna. So, let's hop out over here to CCAN real quick and take a look at the mod list that we're working with. So most of this is the standard mod list, and if I remember to, this will be in the description as well. But there's a decent amount of mods here. This is the number of mods that we have installed currently. We've got X Science, we've got 4KSP, we've got background resources, click-through blocker, blah, blah, blah. So most of this is what we normally run in KSP1. There are a couple of new things in here, though. Specifically, you'll notice that we've got extraplanetary launch pads, which is allowing us to build vessels in other locations than the KSC if we harvest resources for them. So we'll be able to manufacture things on site. That'll be a very useful thing. We've got the Kerbal attachment system, which I think is a extraplanetary launch pads dependency. We've got Kerbal inventory system and Kerbal planetary base systems. Inventory system is part of extraplanetary launch pads dependencies. CCAN installed that, I think. But Kerbal planetary base systems, this includes habitats, greenhouses, laboratories, and much more. It also supports the major life support mods, and that's the major gameplay difference that we've got going on here from what we normally have. We are running TAC life support. So, we'll see how that goes. I've never run a life support mod in KSP before. That should be interesting. So let's hop directly on into KSP here, and we're going to be starting a new game here. We're going to call this Surviving Duna. This is going to be a career mode game, and we're going to need to get to Duna first. So the idea here is getting to Duna is going to be kind of a short to medium term goal, and we're going to be getting to grips with how the life support system works and what all we're going to need for the trip out to Duna. This is also going to mean that we might have to take things like launch windows into consideration. Or we could just overbuild it, and that's probably what we're going to do. Hi, Gene Kerman. Yeah, we know how this works. So that's absolutely fine. Let's hop into mission control here. And we're going to gather scientific data from Kerbal, absolutely, and we're going to launch our first vessel. Wonderful. So now let's head into the VAB, and let's design our very first vessel here. Yes, hi Werner. This is absolutely fine. So we're going to put the Mark 1 command pod for now. Oh, I don't recall seeing this before. Okay, that's interesting. There's a toolbar here, so that's new. Of course, this is part of KER over here, and we can see there's definitely a few new things over here. But for now, we're going to be working in the regular pad here. Mekcheb is kind of in the way there, but not terribly. So for now, all we need to do is we need to put in a flea. So let's get that right on in here. And we don't actually need to have any fuel in it, I don't think. But we'll have the fuel there for now. And we can see there's definitely some new part categories here. So taking a look at that, and also, this music is maybe a little on the loud side. Yeah, let's save and continue. This is Untitled Spacecraft. That's fine. I want to check the audio levels. It's been a while since I played KSP. Maybe the audio levels got reset. It definitely seems to be a little bit on the loud side, at any rate. Okay, let's see what we've got going on here. Yeah, we can definitely turn this down to maybe like 30. That's fine. Okay, so back into the VAB, we need to get this vehicle ready to launch, right? But I want to go through some of these quick. So first off, let's put a parachute in here. That'll be fine. And then these are EVA items. We don't have any of those unlocked. Kerbal attachment system, nothing unlocked here. Extraplanetary launch pads, nothing unlocked here. Life support, nothing unlocked. And containers, there's nothing. Okay, so that seems absolutely fine for now. So we've got this Mark 16 parachute, the Mark 1 command pod, and the Flea solid fuel booster. This will be enough for the moment. So let's put this out on the pad. Interesting that this is still here outside of the VAB. Might need to move that, if I can remember how to move them. It's been a while. Okay, that loading time was also a little bit lengthy. That's definitely noted. It wasn't terrible, but once these vehicles get a little more complex, it might be a little bit worse. So we need to turn on X Science at this point, so we need to go into the options here, and this would be opens here and now window. Okay, because we definitely utilize the here and now window extremely heavily, so we need to get the X Science here and now window over here. I'm noticing that our UI for that is not the correct size. So let's see here. Adjust UI size. There we go. That's a little bit better. Fantastic. Let's grab our crew report, and we should be able to EVA here. Yes. We'll grab our EVA report, and we'll hop back in. Fantastic. And that's all we need to do here. We'll just recover that vessel. So that should get our first contract completed, which is just to gather a little bit of science. As soon as it gets loaded, anyway. So yeah, I'll definitely cut out some of these loading screens a little bit later on once they get a little longer. So that is absolutely fine. We got 3.9 science out of that. Excellent. So we're at 5.9 science, and we can then come in here and we can see escape the atmosphere or orbit Kerbal. We're going to grab escape the atmosphere first. That's absolutely fine. And we also got all of this done. Fantastic. So we can hop into R&D here, and we can grab either Engineering 101, which contains KIS for dummies. That's interesting. A utility wrench, a decoupler, thermometer, communitron. Okay. And then this is our basic rocketry over here. I'm going to grab Engineering 101 because that contains the thermometer. So let's head back into the VAB. And we're going to simply attach in our thermometer here. And I'm also going to attach in the Mystery Goo inline containment unit. Oh yeah, that's the inline. Right, that's not a Science Junior. It's clearly been too long since I played KSP. So we'll put a Mystery Goo on here, and we'll put a 2-hot thermometer right out over here. That'll be fine. We don't need any other parts right now. Let's put this on the pad. So we're going to be launching our rocket this time, and we're going to be a little bit behind on our science here for the moment, specifically the Mystery Goo, because we need to grab our Mystery Goo here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a temperature scan and grab our Mystery Goo observation. There we go. And now we can recover this, but we can't reset this. Jeb is a pilot, and we need to have a pilot for now. So we can recover this, and that'll be fine. And we can grab our Mystery Goo multiple times like this, if we felt like we wanted to. We probably should, to be honest. We're going to need a lot of science, but let's get this right on back in. Excellent. So that is going to bring us up to 6 science, which means that we can now afford basic rocketry. We'll go ahead and grab that. And then let's go ahead and launch our untitled spacecraft, this version of it. Okay. So that will be... We should also probably go over the ground rules I'm going to be operating under. Ground rule number 1, as usual, no reversions are allowed unless I specify that it is a simulation flight beforehand. If it is a simulation flight, then we are able to revert. If it's not a simulation flight, reversions are not allowed. Otherwise, we're going to be keeping to fairly tight constraints on utilizing off-world construction. We're going to need, like, raw materials and stuff for that. I'm not sure if that's going to be baked into the mod set. I think it is. So that should be reasonably fine. For now, let's just grab this goo, and we're also going to grab goo in flight. So that'll be wonderful. But for the time being, we're going to need to head on up very, very shortly. We're almost ready to launch this rocket. Almost. Okay, so we got 0.7 out of that. And of course, we're going to launch this again. Man, it feels like it's been so long since I played KSP1. I mean, it kind of has been, because since I played KSP1 last, we played KSP2, and then we played Juno New Origins, and I think Kitten Space Agency is going to have a release relatively soon. So let's grab one more Mystery Goo observation here, and then we're going to call that good for the pad. That is now down below our 0.1 science threshold, so there's not really a reason in grabbing more of it, although we can continue to do that for increased diminishing returns if we felt like it, which we should not feel like it. So now that means that we need to launch this. And we are going to do exactly that. So let's launch this vessel. We're actually going to take off here, so let's make sure that we set our stability assist on for straight up. We're not going to try to get any major horizontal action going on here. We've just got a single SRB. So we just need to get some flight. Okay, so we are having SAS on at this point, and up we go. Okay, let's grab our crew report, temperature scan, and our Mr. Goo observation for now. Okay, we are out of solid rocket fuel. Excellent. Do we know what our apoapsis is? Oh, this is different. This has a bunch of hexes with resource info. Okay, I wonder if we can turn that on and off. Surely there's a way to toggle that overlay. It's probably this, right? Yes. Okay, good. Cool. So that looks fine. We're still going up at this point, and my question is, do we know what our apoapsis is? No, we don't have any information on that right now. Understood. So we're going to be firing the chute fairly high up here. In fact, I'm doing it right now. We don't want to build up too much speed on the way down, so that's understood. Now, we are flying high and we have access to more of this stuff. But we're going to need to bring this right on down. There we go. Excellent. And we're going to keep this relatively slow because of the chute here. So we're now flying low. I'm going to wait until the chute deploys here. I'm noticing that we are still accelerating at this moment, but this should only accelerate up so far, and it'll let us fall reasonably quickly until such a time as the chute opens. Okay, so we're still accelerating a little bit here. We should be very close to terminal velocity. Normally we'd have like drogue chutes out here slowing us down, but this is absolutely fine for now. Yeah, there we can see we're decelerating. So that looks good. We're coming right on back down. And the chute will deploy here relatively soon. I forget what the chute deployment altitude is. Like 1 kilometer? Yeah, 1 kilometer. Okay, so that should be reasonably fine for now. We're still moving pretty quickly here, and we can see we're about 2 kilometers up and 1 kilometer up. Chute deploys. And we slow way down. That was some major G-forces there, by the way. Okay, so Jeb is a bit of a pancake. He cannot EVA because we need to upgrade our astronaut complex. Unfortunately, we cannot grab this EVA report. That's absolutely fine. So we got ourselves a decent number of milestones here. Fantastic. And we got ourselves some science. And we're setting back down like 100 meters away from where we lifted off. Not bad. Okay, so now we're technically in the shores, which means that we can EVA and we can grab an EVA report. Now, we can't grab any of this other stuff right now, but we can recover this vessel, and let's see how much science we get out of that little bit of a hop. So it's not going to be a huge amount, but, I mean, we don't need a huge amount to get started. What I really want to see is a science collection unit, but I think that's a little further down the line. 23.5 science? Okay, let's see what we can get. So survivability here gives us access to the press map barometer, as well as some heat shields. That's pretty decent. Drogue chutes and radial mount parachutes, that's pretty good. The service bay. Life support food containers, that's new. Okay. Life support supplies containers. So that includes food, oxygen, and water. I see. And these are just oxygen containers. These are waste containers. I wonder if we can... Okay, so that accumulates the carbon dioxide, the waste, and the wastewater. Gotcha. And then these are Hexcan life support. So that's oxygen, water, and food down over here. Gotcha. Okay, so we'll research that, and we've still got enough to potentially grab, like, stability if we wanted it. I don't think we need this right now. We can't afford general rocketry yet. This would be a good thing to take, but we're very close to being able. Okay, so we now have an available contract here, which is actually a number of these. Orbit Kerbal, test the TD-12 decoupler landed at Kerbal. I mean, that's pretty free. Do we have to take off and then land to get that? I'm not 100% certain with this one. Or is it just, can we do this at the launch site? I'm going to grab this, and we're going to find out. We can do it either way, so that'll be fine. We can put a TD-12 decoupler just, like, down here at the bottom, in theory, or even, in theory, at the top. So let's see here. Coupling. TD-12 decoupler. So, yeah, I'm just going to put this right down here, and I'm going to add a new stage here, and we're going to put this out on the pad. Now, this is not the rocket we're going to be going with, but I just want to see if we can get this particular contract completed nice and quickly. Maybe I should have put it at the top. This is maybe a little awkward to have it at the bottom, but I'm sure it's fine. Okay. So, yes, we return to the surface. Yeah, we got that. Fantastic. So let's recover the vessel for now. I probably actually should have done another launch of this. There was a fair amount of science that we didn't get. So that's probably something that we should do, but I'm just going to remove the decoupler from here first. I don't want it to cause any problems. Okay, we didn't actually get access to bringing the decoupler back. That's interesting, but that's fine. It does not matter. So let's hop back in here. Let's get rid of that decoupler, and then I want to put in a service bay here. So the service bay, if I remember correctly, has a higher impact tolerance than the Science Junior, so we'll want the Science Junior up here. But for now, we're just going to put this in like so. And these parts that are strapped on up over here, they can be moved into the service bay. So we can have one here, and the thermometer is going to go here. Then we're interested in grabbing the press mat barometer, which should be here. Okay, so that's going to give us a little bit more science work. I like it. And I still don't like this positioning here. Like, can I just hide this? Or move it somewhere? That would be useful. Yeah, like, yeah, this is fine that we can toggle on and off the toolbar visibility, but I'd like to just straight up hide this. Surely there's a way to do that. There's gotta be a way to do that. This is the toolbar controller here. But no, that's not what we're looking for. Okay. So that's exciting. There's definitely a way to do this, and I think I just need to experiment with this. Configure visible buttons, or just, I just want to move this. Unlock position and size. Ah, here we go. That's more like it. I'm just going to put this kind of out of the way, up over here. I don't really want to hide it necessarily, but that should do. So we'll lock that position and size, and we'll call that good. Okay, so now we've got some extra science here, and that's absolutely wonderful. So let's go ahead and launch this. We're going to need to get the data from the barometer, and some of that data, I believe we can move into the capsule at some point. But I don't think we can just suck it in. I think that has to be done via an EVA. And that's a little awkward for us. So let's grab the barometer here, and then we can come in here and we can see, let's see, there's the crew report available here, Jebediah's inventory, and we can see here the carbon dioxide, waste, and wastewater storage. We can also see how much food, water, and oxygen we have. So really, we should keep a much closer eye on these resources, right? So this is something that we are going to need to keep a very close eye on indeed. But yeah, it looks like we cannot just suck the data into this command pod. That's not surprising. We fully expected that. So that's okay for now. And for the moment, let's go ahead and launch this one more time. So we're going to go straight up again. And we're going to grab some of this data. But we're going to wait until we get up into flying high for the moment. Okay, we can't grab the atmospheric pressure scan. I think we need to unlock this, or open this, at least. No? No, it's because we already have one. That's right. So this is fine for the moment, but let's go up to flying high, and we're going to grab our mystery goo observation and our temperature. And we're going to have to do a number of these, like, relatively low altitude launches here. So that's fine. I'm just physics warping us for the moment until we get up into flying high, which we should be very, very soon. Actually, we're going down. So we don't have enough to get into flying high at this point. That's noted. So I'm going to get this chute out, and then we're going to grab our mystery goo observation here. We just don't have quite enough oomph here. We've added some additional weight, and that's absolutely understood. This thing also likes to flop over a little bit, which is not a bad thing. This now means that we're going to be falling into the water, which is fine. That's a new biome for us. So that means we can grab this temperature scan, and we can also grab our crew report. Kind of an odd place for our SAS to be holding us, but sure. I mean, that definitely built us up a lot of horizontal speed. So, okay. Looks good. So now we're being pulled around here. I'd love to EVA this, but we're going to have to just wait till we get down to the surface. So looking at this, we can see that we have built up, based on this line here, if you can see it, it's a 1 pixel wide line here. We've built up a little bit of wastewater, a little bit of waste, and a fair amount of carbon dioxide, actually. So that's absolutely noted. Let's splash right on down here, right into the water. Excellent. So we're going to grab what we can, and we're going to grab our EVA report. There we go. And there's not a lot of other data that we can grab here. We're going to need a number of these launches, like I said, in order to gather all of this data. And that's going to be fairly important for us to do. So we need to get this early science done. That is mission number 1, and we'll achieve orbit, I think. Probably next episode would be the guess, but for now I just want to kind of mess around and gather a bunch of science. So that was 18.3 science there. Excellent. That, of course, means we can grab general rocketry, which is going to mean that we can get to orbit much more efficiently. So that's absolutely great. And then down here is basic science. So that gives us the experiment storage unit, which is very important, as well as the science junior, which is also very important. Okay, so that looks good for now. I'm just a radial gyroscope. Okay, that's neat. And then there's, of course, the P re-entry module. So that's all looking reasonably good for now. Let's hop back into the VAB here. And at this point, we kind of want to replace this flea. So I'm going to replace the flea with a, let's see, a T-45. We're going to keep the fuel to this fairly low for right now. So something along the lines of this. This is not enough to make it to orbit, and that's absolutely fine. It doesn't need to be. The question is this enough to get us up to high flying? That's the real question here. Still not bothering to name this craft. This is very generic at this point. We're just farming some science. Okay, so once we get here, of course, we are just going to gather what data we can. There's no landed data to gather. That's good. And we're just going to lift this thing right on off and see how this goes. Good thrust to weight. No doubt about that. Going to get us a little bit of horizontal speed, so we're going to go out over this direction. And we need that atmospheric pressure scan, so we'll take that. And I'm going to wait on the mystery goo until we see how high we end up going here. So we can see we built up a lot of speed. This engine is a little too powerful for what we've got going on here. We're almost out of thrust to weight, so that looks fine. Or rather, almost out of delta V. So we built up a lot of speed there. This is flying high, so we'll grab our crew report, we'll grab our temperature scan, and we'll grab a mystery goo observation. There we go. Okay, now the question is, are we actually going to break out of the atmosphere? We might. We might get out of the atmosphere here. What are our current contracts? We have a contract to escape the atmosphere. So, I mean, yeah, we might get there. We'll see. The real question is, coming back down, can we slow down enough to deploy our chute? That'll be real interesting. For the time being, what I want to do is I want to just hold attitude in the prograde marker. And we're just going to be positioning here. This is going to minimize our current amount of drag. And it sure does look like that we're going to break the atmosphere. We're close to our peak here, but yeah, we're going to break the atmosphere for sure. Cool. So we're now officially in space. That gives us our contract completion here. We are indeed coming back very soon. So at this point, what I want to do is I want to position ourselves right at the horizon. And the reason why I want to do this is because I want to have maximal drag. Now, we could have reserved some fuel for re-entry here, and that may not have been a terrible concept. But I want to have maximum drag coming back down. And we'll see how that goes. So for the time being, let's warp here. And now we're coming back down. I'm going to let us come into the atmosphere here. There we go. We're now in the atmosphere. And we're just going to hold right here. And as we can see, the chute deployment here is currently risky, and we are accelerating quite heavily. So the question is Jeb going to be able to survive this? Well, there's a reason we're angling for maximum drag here. We're still accelerating quite a lot, but there's a lot of atmosphere to go here. We're 50 kilometers up. This is looking very suspicious, though. We went further than I was expecting to. I'm pretty concerned about this right now. I'm not going to lie. We're still accelerating at 30 kilometers. Uh-oh. We're trying to get maximum drag here. Now we're decelerating. But, I don't think we're decelerating enough. Maybe we are. We have decelerated a lot. Okay. We just lost attitude. Why can't we deploy at 300? Hang on. Why couldn't we deploy at 300 meters per second there? We know that 300 meters per second should be fine. Is this a mod change? That's interesting. So we're not going to revert this. Jeb is dead at this point. He'll be back. But Jeb is dead for now. So that's very interesting. I definitely expected that we should be able to deploy our chute at 300 meters per second. We were able to do that previously. We had it pre-deployed, and it was fine through 300 meters per second. So why wouldn't that deploy there? That was interesting. We actually slowed down enough that I would have expected that we would have been okay. So let's take a quick peek here. Max safe deploy speed at home, approximately 264. Okay, so that must be slightly different from what I'm used to. Interesting. Well, we can fix this very easily by adding a couple of radial mount drogue chutes. So this is fine. This is a very, very fixable problem. There were a couple of reasons why that happened, of course. This took us further than I was expecting it to in terms of its overall power level. I wasn't expecting to go quite as far as this took us. And also, I was expecting this chute to be activatable a little faster. I guess that just goes to show it's been a really long time since I played KSP1. These numbers are radically different in KSP2 as well as in Juno New Origins. So yeah, that's absolutely fine. It's an easy fix. We're just going to toss in the drogue chutes. Jeb is gone for now, but he will be back. Jeb will regenerate. So don't worry, Jeb will be fine. It's going to take him a little while to walk it off. That's okay. For now, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and you can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge SPL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.